Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to get into something that can be a real headache in IT infrastructure. We're talking about systems management, specifically through the lens of NTI's E-MNG software.
Right. And this isn't a sales pitch. We're using this as a case study to understand a massive challenge in IT, which is simply scale.
Exactly. So what's our mission here?
Our mission is to see how a tool like this tackles that problem. We're talking about environmental monitoring, temperature, humidity, and power management, all across huge data centers.
Stuff you absolutely cannot do by hand.
Impossible. And that's the central nugget here. The sources show this one unified system can manage, get this, up to 3,000 individual devices.
And for today, we're really focusing on the starter version, the E-MNG-0010, which handles 10 units. It's basically software meant to pull all those separate sensors and smart power strips, the E2Ds, the IPDUs, into a single pane of glass.
Yeah, into one view.
Yeah.
Because the fundamental problem, really, is human time.
Okay, so how does it solve that?
Well, the core of it is a centralized graphical interface. You move away from typing into a command line over and over again, and you put everything monitoring config into one dashboard you can get to over the network.
Now, here's where these things can get tricky. Group management. Central control sounds great, but I've seen tools like this be really blunt instruments. Can it actually handle fine-tuning, or is it just for pushing big changes everywhere?
That's a great question. And its strength really is in the group configuration, because the software gets that your time doesn't scale. Configuring one device is fine. Configuring 30 is a nightmare.
So you can push policies.
Exactly. You can push major changes like new users, network settings, security policies to an entire group of units all at once. You're cutting down on time and, maybe more importantly, human error.
But isn't that a single point of failure? I mean, if I push a bad security policy, haven't I just brick 10 devices at the same time?
That is the risk, absolutely. But the alternative, which is manual configuration, is arguably worse for consistency. To balance that risk, the monitoring side is pretty robust.
How so?
You can set up these scrolling summary pages, so you can pick and choose specific critical sensors from different units or groups, and just keep a constant eye on them in one consolidated view.
And you need more than just real-time data for troubleshooting.
Oh, for sure.
Huh.
Real-time tells you what's happening now, doesn't tell you why.
Right.
So the software has a sensor history graph that can show you readings from, I believe, up to the last 120 days.
That's huge for audits. Or for figuring out that mystery temperature spike that happened at 2 in the morning last week.
That's the use case, exactly.
So what's under the hood? What's the architecture that makes this work?
It's a pretty classic client-server model. You have the server application that's constantly polling the units for their status and listening for alerts. It's the traffic controller.
And the client is what the admin uses.
Right. The
Okay.
client is the app you use to see the status and push out the changes.
Mm.
And importantly, it's multi-platform. It'll run on almost anything. Windows, Linux, even Mac OS.
Okay, there's always a catch. Scaling and integrating hardware. That's where the gremlins live. What are the compatibility traps a learner needs to know about here?
And this is so crucial for any real-world deployment. You have to be meticulous. For instance, if you have the older E2D hardware, the software is only compatible with Rev C units.
How would you even know?
You'd look for the 2 power inputs, so that's the tell. But it gets even more specific. If you're using, say, the ESMS16 unit, you have to use older versions of everything. The software, V2.7 or older, and even Java, 1.7 or older.
Wow. So if you just install the latest Java update, you could break the whole system.
You could, and that's the hidden cost of central management. You gain efficiency, but you have to pay very close attention to versioning.
So to wrap this up, we've looked at the E-MNG-0010 as a case study in unified management. It's a tool designed to monitor and configure critical infrastructure at scale. Commercially, the base model is $500, has a 2-year warranty, and you can try it out with a 15-day trial.
Right. And that brings us to the final thought. The source material lists options for managing 10, 50, 100, up to 3,000 units. So here's the question for you to think about.
Go for it.
We've seen how managing 10 units saves labor. But what fundamentally has to change in the architecture to go from managing 10 to managing 3,000 without the whole system crashing from latency? What's the difference between the E-MNG-0000 and the E-MNG-3000? And I mean beyond just the user interface. That's your deep dive homework.